Murder John Lennon. Oh, hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Wrestling Exchange. Oh man, it's exciting. Episode 53. We're like a year and 2 weeks old. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. My name is Ted, and I am joined with my partner, as always.
Popo, welcome back, everybody. We got an awesome show for you tonight. We're going to be covering the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view as well as Raw from this Monday. Ted, give them the news.
Oh, we're about to get into the news. Couple of quick things, though. This is a passionate discussion between two wrestling fans. So bad language, we get a little excited, innuendos, some adult themes. Those are things that happen here, especially two words. So, especially four little words like fuck, shit, piss, cock. You know the deal. And if you're not down with that, my man's got two words for you.
Sweet areola.
Nice. That being said, just a couple of quick reminders. If you enjoy what you're watching here, right? If you see these videos, or if you're not watching it and you just don't have the privilege of watching my beautiful round face, and you listen to these on like the drive on the way to work, or whenever you're ignoring your family, and if any of this entertains you, do us a favor. Click that thumbs up button, that like button. It really helps us out. It gets the show out to more people because there's like math and stuff that goes on with Google that I went to public school, so I don't quite understand. Second thing, comment. Whatever we're talking about, if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, if it's related, if it's not related, you know what? I take that back. Try to keep it related to what we're talking about, right? Like if I say that like John Cena is blah, 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 and you're like, John Cena's terrible. Fuck it. Go ahead and put that down there. Also, subscribe. That's the easiest way to know when new videos are out, because unfortunately right now with Papo being in Casa de Papo and myself being located in parts unknown, we're operating on two separate schedules, so it's hard to keep a specific time and day lined up. We usually try to get Wednesdays. Some days it ends up being Thursdays. Some days it's earlier or later. So if you subscribe, great news, you'll get an email letting you know right away when the video is up, so you don't have to keep looking and being disappointed because there's no beautiful faces for you. Also, if you're interested in sending us any email questions like, hey, who do you think the greatest wrestlers of all time? Who do you think has the nicest pair of boot? Who's got the nicest butt? We'll answer your question. That's no problem. Send those questions to tedandpapo@gmail.com. Go to the Facebook page. Visit our Patreon page if you're interested in becoming a sponsor. I have trouble with words today. Say, for example, we want to get some mixers, we want to get some better equipment. The easiest way to do that, to help us out, to show us your love and support, is to go to patreon.com/tedandpapo. But look, you know what? I realize that's a lot to remember. But I'm so awesome. I did all that fucking work for you. I put it in the description box. So clickety-clack the description thing, it's going to open up, and then you just, boom, bam, done. But wait until we're done talking, and these mouths are not flapping, and you can do all that stuff, and it'll be fun. Papo, did I cover it all before we get into Elimination Chamber?
That's it. Let's get this ball rolling.
Boom. Let's do that. Very quickly, I know I said this before. Couple of quick things in the news. Last week, we reported that TNA Impact Wrestling is going to be effectively canceled on Destination America as of the end of September. As a side note to that story, it turns out that Ring of Honor will be the new lead-in show on Wednesdays for TNA Impact Wrestling. I don't know about you, Papo, but my takeaway is that that's something to acclimate the Destination America viewers to Ring of Honor, so that way when TNA goes away, Ring of Honor can move on into that slot. Is it safe to say that that's probably what they're going to do?
It's very safe.
Speaking of things that are very safe and not very safe, not very safe. Rusev, he's got a broken foot/ankle. It's very disappointing. That's actually going to play into Elimination Chamber. Papo, how long do you think he's going to be out? A month? 2 months? I've never broken a foot, so I don't know the recovery time on that.
Well, with a broken foot/ankle, he may be out for 2, maybe up to 3 months.
There you have it. Papo, PhD. I'm loving it. Also, last thing before we get into Elimination Chamber, Kevin Owens has signed a quote-unquote main roster contract and will now be appearing on all Raw shows going forward, including the next pay-per-view, Money in the Bank leading into Battleground on July 19th, and apparently he is booked to replace Rusev on all the upcoming house shows. So if you were going to go to a house show and they were advertising Rusev, you're going to get Kevin Owens instead, which I don't know about you, Papa, but I'd say that's a pretty fair trade.
I would agree. I mean, Kevin Owens right now is steamrolling the competition in NXT, so he got the push that he deserved.
So let's dive right in and talk about the Elimination Chamber pre-show. Did you get a chance to check this out at all?
No.
All right. Well, not much happened, so I'll just breeze right through it. Firstly, the opening match was Zack Ryder versus Stardust. Stardust picks up the win with a quote-unquote new finisher. I put that in quotations because it's the Crossroads and Cody Stardust, not Cody. Cody's in Alaska and he's fat.
Yeah.
It's really just the Crossroads, but he's calling it the Queen's Crossbow. Papo, being that there was some animosity last week at, god damn, what is the name of that venue? Nassau Coliseum. It seems like, according to the dirt sheets, with the name of this move being the Queen's Crossbow, and with the nod to a subtle feud with the guy from Arrow, the TV series based off the DC comic character Green Arrow, the dirt sheets are reporting a possible match between the two at SummerSlam. Is that something you're looking forward to?
I'd be interested in watching that. Actually see how Steve Amell will actually fend for himself inside the ring. Within the TV show Arrow, this dude is a badass. So let's see if he learned anything.
Only if at the end of the match he tells Stardust that you have failed this company.
That'd be awesome.
We also get a Miz TV segment with Daniel Bryan. Miz wishes Daniel Bryan a speedy recovery, and Miz is basically hurt with all the time that he put into making Daniel a star, and he feels like he's the victim here. Daniel says that his career is not over. He will be back. He also took, in his absence, or his continued absence, I guess you should say, he wrote a book called Yes. I'm assuming there's a comma or an exclamation point there. Yes, My Improbable Journey to the Main Event of WrestleMania. Daniel says he is here to present the Intercontinental Championship to the winner of the Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber title match. Whew, that's a lot. And at the end of the segment, Daniel Bryan summons the Mega Powers 2.0, and they kick the shit out of Miz to end the segment. I would ask you your thoughts, but you weren't there for me, Papo. You're never there. You never watch the pre-show.
I know. Bad Papo.
Muy mal. See, I'm brushing up on my Samoan. I'm getting way better. Lastly, Eden interviews Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, and backstage. Oh, side note, you know Eden is Cody Rhodes' wife?
I didn't know that.
And do you know that Stardust is having an affair with Cody Rhodes' wife?
But Cody Rhodes is fat and lives in Alaska.
Apparently he's giving her the cosmic key, man. I don't know. So Roman Reigns tells us, oh my god, this is terrible. Roman Reigns tells Dean Ambrose not to worry because I brought the cold ones, and he will be in his former partner's corner. Now, we can get to the actual Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Let's start off with the WWE Tag Team Championship Elimination Chamber match. Whew, that's a lot. So, in case you weren't familiar, the teams are Primetime Players, Los Matadors with El Torito. We'll talk about that in a minute. Kid and Cesaro, New Day, all three of them, the Ascension, and the Lucha Dragons. Papo, there's a lot that happens in this match, but without going into the actual spots, what did you think about it?
I'm sorry you lagged out on me at that last second.
All right, let me change my question then. What did you think about El Torito being in the match, standing on the pod?
It was like a hood ornament. So, I didn't really think much about it, but I thought it was pretty cool.
I thought it was some old bullshit, to be honest. To be frank, I didn't like it. It's bullshit. That was it.
Cry about it.
I will. I will cry right into my tea. Um, I didn't like it because Natalya comes out with Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. We don't get Dominatrix Natalya on top of a pod. She can stand on top of my pod. I mean, I know
She
she's
could,
Canadian and all, but I'll forgive her.
she could stand on top of my pod. They
She
should
can
have put her
stand on
ass.
top.
They should have put her ass on top of that pod with a thong.
Boom! I dig it. Show that heart-shaped booty. Get it? Because she's a heart, kind of, sort of. Um, this is terrible. So that's a couple of spots, because there's a lot of shit that happens in this match. But there's a couple of spots that I do want to talk about. Obviously, you were okay with El Torito being on top of the pod. Did you have any reservations with him being involved in the actual goings-on of the match itself? Because he did show restraint, and he waited until was it Epico and Primo? I mean, Los Matadores got involved.
Well, yeah, I mean, he would have to wait. I mean, if he were to interfere, then that would just be like straight cheating and totally outside of elimination chamber rules.
Are there rules in the Elimination Chamber beyond like who can be pinned and whatnot? Because spoiler alert, in the Intercontinental title match, like we see one of those rules get thrown the fuck out of the window, as far as the pods themselves. What did you think about that wacky Kalisto dive from the top of the inside of the middle of the cage?
Well, they do some awesome spots during this whole thing. That one, I mean, it was pretty good. The spot that I'm more curious about is the triple suplex.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. I wanted to hear your thoughts on this because I'm going to be honest. It scared the shit out of me. Like literally. There was poop coming out of my butt. That's how scared I was. If you didn't see what happened here, Kalisto, who, mind you, had been getting the shit kicked out of him by the New Day because he was standing on top of the New Day's pod, but they pulled his legs down into the pod and they were just beating the crap out of his legs. But you got to remember, Elimination Chamber is like WWE's version of the Thunderdome. Actually, you know what? It's like War Games meets Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. That's what this fucking thing is, right? And Kalisto climbs to the friggin' apex of the cage and then starts to swing out, right? And then he swings out and like lands on Cesaro and the Ascension. It kind of scared the crap out of me. I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, please don't die, please don't die, please don't die. Thankfully, he didn't die. Quick question: what did you think about the Ascension actually looking kind of dominant in this match? Kind of not looking like jobbers for once.
Well, it's kind of refreshing, but then yet we know that the Ascension still a bit green, if you will.
Oh, if you will, they are terrible. I'm not gonna. They were terrible in NXT, but they got over in like an ironic way. So let's say you wanted to get to that Tower of Doom super suplex spot, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this was pretty nutty. So Cesaro goes to gut wrench suplex Darren Young off the top rope. As he does this, Titus O'Neil comes underneath Cesaro in kind of like a powerbomb clutch, and they do this Tower of Doom spot, which is pretty neat. I've never seen that particular version. But then the New Day enter last, and then there's like a 6-man vertical suplex. It was like watching. Have you ever watched rugby, Papa?
Yeah, where they lock up.
That's exactly where I was going. Yeah.
But it was actually 7 instead of 6.
Are you counting El Torito?
No, there was.
El Torito only gets a 0.5. He's not a full 1. Sorry, he's a little person.
El Torito was involved in that suplex?
I don't know. Where do you get 7?
Kid and Cesaro, the primetime players. That's 4 right there, suplexing the New Day.
Oh, you know what? Then maybe the New Day were on the other side of the camera then, or on the other side of the ropes, because I didn't see all 3 members of the New Day. Oh, that's fine. You know, I went to public school, so math is really not my thing. Um, let's see. Um, Obviously, New Day in the end win with a Trouble in Paradise kick by Kofi to Titus. A couple of quick questions here. Because I mentioned how dominant the Ascension looked. Talk to me about how surprisingly dominant Titus O'Neil came off as. Because he came off like a bad motherfucker in this match.
It's like they're playing Titus to his strengths now. I mean, he's a big, tall, strong guy. I mean, he could be a heavyweight jabroni.
I could dig that. What do you think
So I
about?
mean, he has the power. He has the power to back it up. So I mean, they're actually pushing him to him having that strength to throw people around like nobody's business.
What did you think about the win by New Day? Because I think you and I both predicted that New Day would come out with the win. Is this a good thing, right? Does this continue the push for New Day, keeping them in a position where they can be entertaining?
Yeah, right now they're getting pops from the crowd. New Day sucks. New Day sucks.
Actually, I believe it's New Day rocks.
Shut your blue.
All right.
But they're getting pops from the crowd with New Day sucks, and right now they're a draw. There's no denying it. They are a draw.
I love it. I love the New Day, especially when the New Day first started before they were actually the New Day. It was like this almost Nation of Domination, militant black guy. You know, we're not gonna take this shit anymore. And then Ferguson happened, and they disappear, and they come out as the Blue Day. Um, yeah, man, I really fucking digged it. And the only other thing I wanted to add about that match before we move on is I don't know about your feed. My feed got a little wonky. But after this match, there's a please don't try this at home ad. Did you get one of those?
I got that same ad.
Does WWE think that we have fucking Thunderdomes in our living rooms?
Apparently.
Just checking. Holy shit, Money in the Bank is just going to be in 2 weeks from now. Is this too soon? Are we going to get a pay-per-view every 2 weeks? Is that the new formula?
I'm not complaining.
Fair enough. Let's talk, which we talked about briefly on the on the pre-show, that we're not going to spend much time on it, but I do want to mention a couple of things. Divas title triple threat match. I woefully and wrongfully assumed that the Chamber would be down, right? The whole pay-per-view, and just everybody would have matches in the Chamber. At least a Divas Chamber match would have been interesting, yeah?
Oh yeah, that would have been awesome.
So what happens here is there's another three-person, that Tower of Doom spot. It's like suplex, German suplex, powerbomb type deal. This is a complaint I'm going to mention here, but it's going to be mostly in the John Cena match. All throughout the night, we're hearing a lot of spots called. Did you catch that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Okay, because that's going to become an issue in the Cena Owens match. Nikki Bella wins with the Rack Attack and retains her title. I think you and I both called Naomi.
We both called Naomi.
Shame on us. Let's talk about the real fucking main event of Elimination Chamber: John Cena versus Kevin Owens.
Champion versus champion.
Yeah, champion versus champion matches are so bizarre when there's like no title on the line. To me, I don't know why, but like every time I hear champion versus champion, my mind goes back to, was it WrestleMania 6? Hogan as world champion versus Ultimate Warrior as Intercontinental champion.
Yes.
Yeah, they were both on the line. So I don't know. Maybe my brain's all fucked up and broken. It's the drugs. So let's talk about this match. There's a lot of kickouts.
Omeprazol's not going to make your brain go crazy.
Hey, what are you trying to say? I'm fat and I eat terrible food? You want to fight about
it? Sure. Stick your thumb up your butt.
And knuckles deep. I'm way ahead of you. There's a lot of kickouts in this match. I know a lot of people had issues with it. Did the amount of kickouts bother you?
No. It added to the drama. This match fed the storyline.
Here's my second part to that question. Did the amount of kickouts of finishers bother you in this match? Because there was at least 2 for each guy. Or rather, one of Cena kicking out of Owens' finishers, and I think Owens kicked out of an AA and then got out of an STFU.
Well, the amount didn't bother me at all. I mean, again, it played to the man drama in which we so love. And right now, this match, champion versus champion, was off the hook. This match, I really dug this match, for real.
For real. There's a spot where, did you catch that Owens hit Cena with an attitude adjustment? And he was like, "You can't see me."
For real. That was,
loved it.
Again, it was played out perfectly.
And he even went to give him the 5-knuckle shuffle, which, by the way, can we talk about this for something? So it's the PG era, right? John Cena has gone from changing the names of his finishing moves from the STFU to the STF, and from the FU to the attitude adjustment. The 5-knuckle shuffle has never been addressed. That's a euphemism for fucking jerking off. Do you think WWE just doesn't know that?
I don't think they even thought about it.
Well, Vince, you're on notice. This is the 5-knuckle shuffle right here. 50 Shades of Cena, still trying to get that trending. So let's see. Oh, there's a spot where Owens goes for a move that he used to use on the independent circuit. Papo, did you ever see him use the package pile driver?
Not until this match.
He kind of went for it, and then he picked him up for the package pile driver, but then kind of tossed him to the side in this kind of slam fashion. Now, obviously, it wasn't the full move itself, but it still looked really cool, yeah?
Yes, it did. Flawless.
I'll tell you what's flawless. Kevin Owens actually beat John Cena, and this is something I do want to spend a moment or two on. How often is it that someone debuts against John Cena and wins?
Right. Has it ever happened?
How often? I mean, it's not my question. It's not something that happens frequently, right?
Frequently means that it happens ever so often. This is a first.
Okay. So follow up. So someone who debuts against Cena and beats him, is it just me, or Cena only loses clean twice a year?
Roughly about twice a year. Approximately.
Have we met our quota, or do you think we're going to see more Cena losses? Because I'm going to be honest, this was honestly for me the match of the night.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. This was the match of the night, but I believe we're going to see more losses.
So, Kevin Owens wins with a pop-up powerbomb. And there's a lot of talking in this match, to the point where there's a lot of talking in all the matches, but in this match specifically, it's all over the place. To the point where Cena's drop down, shoulder tackle, come back, get it again. And I'm like, Jesus. That's a lot.
You're about to do the move yourself.
Right. So when someone is calling their spots, does that bother you so much as it, what bothers you more? Hearing the spots being called or seeing their lips and being able to read the spots off their lips? Which bothers you more?
Both bother me equally, and they annoy the shit out of me.
Now, I'm going to be honest. I didn't catch a single one out of Kevin Owens, right? Not one. But Cena's kind of notorious for this, and it bothers the shit out of me because although I did think it was the match of the night, it is something that takes me right out of it. I'm not really a big fan of it. After the match, though, Kevin Owens cuts a promo. He tells the crowd that now everybody knows who he is. For those who didn't know, he is the man who started the fight with Cena, and he is the man who finished said fight. Cena is then given some veteran advice by Owens. He says, quote, "It's time for you to go because your time is way up. My time is now because the champ is her." And he holds up the NXT title. Cool stuff. Anything else you wanted to mention about that before we keep that ball rolling?
I'm waiting for some big things to happen with Kevin Owens. He's the guy to watch, so stay tuned.
Next match is Bo Dallas versus Adrian Neville. Uh, Tell me, this was a short. Oh no, excuse me, I'm confusing this with the Raw match. Your thoughts on this match?
Honestly, I didn't see Neville babying the knee like he would in prior matches, so he looked pretty good, and it was a decent match from your friend Bo Diddley, but we got Neville coming out victorious
Stop
with
it.
that.
Are you still trying to intimate that you are not a believer?
I'm confirming that I'm not a believer.
That's a shame. That's a shame. I'm
Bo
sorry.
Diddley.
Stop it. Stop it. No more. You can't hear me, or I can't hear you, something like that. So finish your thought on this Bo Dallas match, because we're not going to really spend much more time on it.
Again, I believe it was a solid match, back and
Oh,
forth.
you believe? Ha! Believe! You did it, ladies and gentlemen. We win. He's a believer. Time to take
Take
your
that thumb and stick it up your butt.
victory lap. Victory lap. I would, but I'm fat and I'm sitting down. Does it surprise you
Smell your
that
thumb.
does it surprise? Stop it. Does it surprise you that Bo Dallas lost?
No.
Bo Dallas, ladies and gentlemen, jobber to the stars. Next match is the Intercontinental Title Elimination Chamber match. Daniel Bryan is sitting watching this ringside, and it's Mark Henry that takes Rusev's place, because Rusev was originally slotted for this match. And I predicted Rusev to win. Did you also predict Rusev to win?
We both chose Rusev to win because you know damn well that we both guaranteed that he was going to come out with that IC belt.
I'm telling you, I really think that somebody else won only because he got injured. So a couple of things. Mark Henry takes his place. Obviously,
Sexual chocolate.
We're in Texas, right? It's Mark Henry's home state. Was it wise for him to come out first, or should they have saved that pop for the last entrant?
They should have saved that pop for our last entrance. But with him and his placing in that Elimination Chamber, let him come out first. Oh well. Let him relish in his hometown crowd.
So Henry isn't alone in this match because it's a six-man match. So the other participants end up being Sheamus, R-Truth, Ryback, King Barrett, and Dolph Ziggler. By the way, is Corpus Christi the worst place to hold a pay-per-view? Because these crowds suck every time they go to Corpus Christi.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like being in Canada or in the UK where these crowds go crazy. The pop is amazing. You can feel it through the TV set.
Like they're hungry for the pay-per-view to be in their locale.
For real.
Not here, and this is what sucked about Corpus Christi, Texas too, because John Cena told us last week that he wanted the dueling chant, the John Cena, let's go Cena, Cena sucks. He told us, hey, with me versus Owens, I want to hear let's go Cena, fight Owens, fight. Corpus Christi, you suck, because you couldn't even follow directions from John Cena. And he's a doctor. So, yeah.
Thugonomics.
Is it safe to say that this chamber match was probably one of the worst we've ever seen?
You know what? Excuse me. Yes. I mean, the tag team elimination chamber had better spots.
Yeah, because here's something that I noticed that I wanted to get your opinion on, right? So in the tag team match, it was like spot after spot after spot, right? So you would think that being that this is the second chamber match of the night, they would let the tag match be the spot match, and then in this match they would apply a little bit of psychology. I didn't see any of that.
None at all.
And you know what's worse? The best part of the match is the part that made the least amount of sense. Do you mind if I take it from here?
Go ahead.
So Sheamus is in one of the pods, okay? And his pod is like the third or second to light up because they do that bit where they dum 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 dum, and they go from corner to corner with the lights. So his pod lights up, but it doesn't open, and he acts like upset that his pod doesn't open, like that he wants to be out there. And then he waits until everybody has thoroughly kicked the shit out of each other, where they're all laying down on the ground, and then it's kind of shittily revealed that his pod didn't open because he jammed his necklace into the pod door in a way that the referee couldn't get in there and pull it out. Papa, let me ask you a question. If I'm a heel and I'm purposefully blocking my pod door from opening until it's advantageous for me to do so, why even bother to go to the length of pretending that I'm upset that it didn't open in the first place? I mean, even if I didn't purposefully do it, I'd be happy.
Well, in heel fashion, he played the role perfectly.
Do you think so?
He made it seem like he was upset that he can't get in and cause a fit just to have everybody else thinking that he's not going to be able to get out. And then that gives a false sense of security to the baby faces in the ring.
I guess you're right. Because if it were me, I would have done it a lot differently. Like, I would have been like, I'll come in whenever I want to, fella. Or some shit like that. I don't know. At the end, though, Ryback stands tall and victorious by pinning Sheamus with the shell shock. Ryback's the new Intercontinental Champion. Daniel Bryan congratulates Ryback and hands him the title. Ryback shows Daniel Bryan respect by saying that not only is he an inspiration to the people, us, the WWE Universe, but also he is an inspiration to the big guy. Any final thoughts on that before we move on to the actual main event?
Rusev should have won that Elimination Chamber match.
Hey man, Rusev Machka. So we got the WWE World Heavyweight Championship title match. Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. What did you think about this match? And as a second sub-point to that, how did this fare when you put it side by side with Owens versus Cena?
And we're discussing the Dean Ambrose-Seth Rollins match.
Yes.
Okay. With this actually was an awesome match. I mean, this was a perfect second to the Cena Owens match. But the drama at the end was, how should I say, ridiculous.
Oh, I think you and I might be really in huge disagreement here. So, without talking about the actual end of the match, were you surprised at the relatively little interference by J&J and Kane?
It was surprising. I mean, they went back and forth. I mean, there was very little interference, and the match was actually really good. These two put on an awesome clinic. I did not notice any missed spots. There was, I would say, roughly about 2 or 3. And outside the ring was awesome. They continuously fell over the commentator table, which was hilarious.
It's a very fun spot.
I mean, again, it was. I mean, fun spots.
So, the end of the match itself culminates in what is known in pro wrestling as, or is affectionately known in pro wrestling as, the Dusty Finish. And what that means is it basically, it harkens back to in the era of NWA, where Dusty Rhodes was the booker, and he was an on-air performer. And basically what would happen is, it would be a situation where the good guy wins, but he doesn't really win. Like his win it's a win in such a way that the people all get up on their feet and like, finally, the heels get what's coming to them. And then, oh, wait, no, they don't. Right? And it's a way to just kind of anger the crowd. This is something that I didn't mind because I thought this was a very well timed and well executed way of doing it, and a good. It was a perfect time and place for it, right? Because it's in a match that we really want to see a conclusion to, and then it just leads to a second match, which is going to be an even bigger deal, right? Which we're going to go from a one-on-one match to a one-on-one ladder match. Because basically what happens is that there's a spot where Ambrose goes off the top rope for like that flying elbow onto Rollins, but Rollins pulls the ref in front of him, and the ref takes a bump. So then, right after that, Ambrose hits Rollins with the Dirty Deeds DDT, and another ref runs down to the ring and then counts the three. Rollins would have been out for at least 10, 15 seconds. And we're allowed to have that moment of Ambrose being the winner. And it's here that everybody's like, oh, shit, this is incredible, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, see, when it happened, I knew, like right then and there, I was like, oh, no, he doesn't really win because that first ref is going to say it's a DQ. And what happened? The first ref said it was a DQ, therefore that's when the match officially ended. So Ambrose does win, but he wins by disqualification, and Papa, as you and I as well, the rest of the fans know that a title can only change hands on a pinfall or submission unless there's a stipulation that says otherwise. So you didn't like the way this went down.
Well, no, I didn't. The way that the DQ, we want the decision. You want the damn decision. We want that 1, 2, 3. Ambrose has the belt. That's what the people want.
I think you're getting worked, because I want it bad, right? Like I want Ambrose to win bad, right? But I think that this it makes you want the rematch that much more, right? Because you're like, damn, like he had him fucking dead to rights, and that dirty bastard motherfucker, he cheated, so like I want to see it again, right? I think it was great. Would it be okay if, so long as we get a decisive end to the next match?
I would be happy with that.
Okay. After the match, Ambrose gets on the mic after he's told that he is not champion, and he says, I won the match. This means I'm taking the title. And tonight, the champ buys the beer. And him and that's right. Him and Reigns leave because Reigns attacked an interfering J&J and Kane after the match. Now, that being said, whatever the fuck the show was, oh yeah, Elimination Chamber goes off the air, and now we're going to talk about Raw. But before we do, just a couple of quick reminders. At the top of the show, I mentioned that if you're enjoying what you see here, normally the show's not going to be as long as it is today because we have to talk about the pay-per-view and Raw. But if you like what you see here, click the like button. Click the subscribe button. You'll get an email letting you know whenever the newest video is up. If you want to become a comment at any point in time, if you like it, don't like it, if you agree with us, you hate us, you think we're handsome or ugly, you think my Samoan gibberish is good or bad, let us know, please. You can tell us, you know what, here's what you do. Tell us what you thought was the best match on the pay-per-view. Do that. That'll be interesting. Also, if you're interested in donating, you can go to the Patreon. Do it. If you're interested in donating, go to the Patreon page. That's patreon.com/TedandPapo. You can also email us your questions at tedandpapo@gmail.com, such as blah, 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 speculation, question. You know, anything like that. Follow us on Twitter. Go to the Facebook page. And I made it super simple. It's all in the description box below. Don't be lazy fuckheads. That's all I'm going to say. Now, Papo, we went from one shitty crowd in Corpus Christi to Monday Night Raw in a way better crowd in San Antonio, Texas. Is that safe to say?
Safe to say.
So, show Raw begins with an obligatory Authority in-ring promo. And basically the gist of this promo is that just because Ambrose stole the title, it does not make him champion. They demand that Ambrose bring the title back, and then a discussion can be had about what happens afterwards. Roman Reigns comes down as essentially the mouthpiece of Dean Ambrose and tells the Authority that Ambrose is not in the building and he may never ever return with the title unless he is given a rematch at Money in the Bank for the title, and he wants it to be specifically a ladder match. After Roman calls Seth possibly the worst WWE champion of all time, Rollins loses his cool and accepts Ambrose's challenge and says he doesn't need Kane, J&J, or the Authority, and he will beat Ambrose at Money in the Bank all by himself. Triple H then tells Reigns that if he loses his match tonight, he will be removed from the Money in the Bank ladder match, and Triple H tells him to stay in the ring because he will go back and find an opponent for Reigns. So before we talk about the first actual match, there's a couple of things in this promo that I wanted to break down and get your thoughts on. You ready?
Break it down.
Okay. What do you think about Dean Ambrose being kept off the show?
It didn't bother me because we know we would see him later on.
What do you think about Dean Ambrose demanding a ladder match at Money in the Bank?
We get the rematch in which everybody wants to see Dean Ambrose win clean.
What do you think about Seth Rollins saying that he does not need anyone in the Authority to assist him, that he can do it on his own?
Bullshit!
And what do you think about Roman Reigns telling Rollins that he is quite possibly the worst WWE World Heavyweight Champion of all time?
What's up? That's our truth.
So the first match is Roman Reigns versus King Barrett. This match really wasn't all that great, and there's not a whole lot happens here. You mind if I just go into the finish, and then we can discuss it?
Finish it.
After having his fatality. After having his eyes raked by Barrett, Reigns ducks the bullhammer elbow and counters with a spear for the win. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Match was too short. Barrett sucks as the king, and Roman speared the crap out of him.
Well, according to JBL, he's king of the universe.
He's king of Portisans.
I don't even know what that means. Is that Samoan? Oh shit, okay. Backstage, Triple H and Steph confront Roman Reigns and tell him that not only does he have another match, but just like before, if he doesn't win, he will be removed from the Money in the Bank ladder match. Spoiler alert, that's a theme throughout this episode of Raw. Backstage, Byron Saxton interviews the, quote, longest reigning current champion in WWE, Nikki Bella. Paige butts in and mentions that she indeed did win a battle royal in April that made her the #1 contender, and that she hasn't had her specific match yet. Nikki Bella accepts Paige's challenge for a title match later on in the show. Question. Obviously, we know all of this to be true. Shouldn't they save this match for Money in the Bank instead of just give away a title match on free TV? Not that these specials you have to pay for, because they're fucking done in a way that every month is free for new subscribers.
You want to save this type of match for the pay-per-view, but I believe for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view coming up, they have something even better. So let's give Divas a chance.
I hope so. I fucking hope so. The new Intercontinental Champion, Ryback. You know what? There was one question I meant to ask, and I didn't ask prior. Ryback. He's the new Intercontinental Champion. Your thoughts on Ryback as Intercontinental Champion?
Let the big guy run. Feed him more.
Boom. I can live with that. Ryback cuts a promo in the beginning. He thanks San Antonio for their support. And we get the Intercontinental title match, Ryback versus The Miz, except that we really don't. Because right before the match starts, Big Show comes out, punches Miz in the mouth, and says, if anyone's going to beat you for that title, it's going to be me. Papo, I got to ask, how excited were you to see the Big Show?
You want me to read the cue cards, or do you want me to provide you with my real opinion?
Why don't you do both? Start with the cue cards and then go into your real opinion.
I was so happy to see the Big Show return. We missed him this much.
How do you really feel?
Get your big ass out of the damn ring.
Do you think it's weird that Big Show punches Miz in the face, and basically says he wants to beat Ryback and then just leaves. Like, doesn't even bother attacking Ryback.
It was his best promo ever.
Big. Hopefully you're being facetious. I hope you are. Is this the championship feud that we deserve, or the championship feud that we need?
For Ryback, it'll definitely push his career forward.
I like how
Knowing he's going to beat the Big Slow, it's gonna put him in big dude status, big guy status.
I love how you just completely refuse to answer the question, but that's okay because we got to talk about something that's fucking awesome, and that's Kevin Owens. Is there anything that Kevin Owens is not great at so far?
No, the boy is dynamite.
Good times. All right, so let's talk about this, right? So Owens cuts a promo, and I'm basically going to distill it down in a couple of thoughts. Number one, he says that he, unlike some certain colorful T-shirt wearing motherfuckers, delivers on his promises. And that he should be happy about his victory over Cena, but he isn't, because his son, who's a huge John Cena fan, which is true, by the way, his son is a huge John Cena fan. When his son saw him beat John Cena, all his son cared about was asking his father, "Is John Cena okay?" Which kind of put Owens over the edge here, because Owens blames his son not caring for him on the blind worship that is given, because he's portrayed Cena. This is what we're talking about. Cena is portrayed to children as a superhero, which he's not wrong, right? Everything he says in this promo is 100% true, right? And that John Cena became the hero to his son that he himself could never be. Owens promises that in 2 weeks at Money in the Bank, he will, quote, expose the lie that is John Cena. Owens says he will make sure that his son will watch every single second and encourages responsible parents to force their children to watch as well, so that they see what a real role model does, and what they're going to do is a real role model does not hide behind catchphrases. Is this vaguely reminiscent of a CM Punk promo? Because I feel like lines such as expose the lie that is John Cena kind of seem eerily reminiscent of CM Punk.
It is very eerie and very reminiscent of CM Punk.
Having a child yourself, who I'm assuming is a big John Cena fan?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay. So having a child of yourself, I got one on the way. Does this resonate to you as a father? The idea that I want to kill this guy because my son looks up to him and not me. Like, is that something that you could fear as a father in realistic terms, that you could relate to Kevin Owens?
Yes, because a father wants their kid to look up to him. You want to be that role model. You want them to be an echo of yourself, if you will.
If you will.
And for Owens to beat Cena, and then his son being worried about Cena, it's like a slap in the face.
So let's handle the other side of the promo. Cena comes out, he responds, he tells Owens to shut up, and he basically said that, before Owens opened his mouth, he was going to come down and give Owens the U.S. title, because week after week after week, he's been hoping that someone who is worthy, someone who has proven themselves, can knock him off this pedestal and he can give the title to. And he basically says that before Owens opened his mouth, he was going to come down and give it to Owens, but he says that Owens really doesn't deserve it. And it's not because he isn't a good wrestler, but that means that he's a shitty champion because he's a bad role model. He also insults Owens' manhood, and he tells Owens that his son, this is Owens' son, is a fan of Cena because he believes that he believes because he sees Cena deliver. The three words that define Kevin Owens are not fight, Owens fight, but are the same words that define John Cena. Never give up. And this really pisses Owens off. And basically, at the end, after all of this, John Cena takes off his shirt to fight, and Owens leaves. What did you think about Cena's response and Owens deciding to take the road less, and Owens' decision to just leave the ring and do the heel thing?
Well, it definitely played into the man drama that we both so dearly love. But I believe Owens actually took those words to heart since it had to do with his son. So playing in that heel faction, he wasn't going to give the satisfaction to John Cena to actually get into a skirmish.
Mm, I can dig it. There's a couple of things that I wanted to add to what you said because, like I said, everything that Owen said here resonates, and I'm sure it resonates to people who don't even have children because you can feel that what he's saying is true, right? That he's not making stuff up for television. What I loved about this is it. This particular promo embodies something that happens in all forms of human storytelling, specifically about the best and greatest villains. And the best villains, the most dangerous villains, the quote unquote greatest villains in real life and in fiction are ones that think that they're the good guy, right? That they think in the end that history will remember me as the real savior. Do you get that sense from Kevin Owens that like he's just, you know what, you'll all remember me as the good guy. I just have to do what's necessary here.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement. I mean, he's out there to get paid. He's out there to win matches so he can support his family.
Mm.
So I mean that actually fits to a majority of viewers that are going to follow him.
Sure. Now, you and I could talk, I'm sure, about this promo for another 10 minutes, but we got to keep this thing rolling. So we're going to roll right into a New Day. New Day cuts a promo. They say that if Kofi wins the Money in the Bank, they all become Money in the Bank holders, which I loved. And then we get Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler. What did you think about that promo and them all being Money in the Bank champion? And did you have any investment in this particular match?
Initially, I had no investment into this match whatsoever. I've seen Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler go at it like 1,000 times, but with Kofi Kingston winning the Money in the Bank match and them all being Money in the Bank match winners, that is like to the extreme Freebird rules.
It's like the Freebird rule from hell. Dolph Ziggler wins with a roll-up, and he's immediately attacked by the New Day until the primetime players come to the rescue. Is that the part that piqued your interest when they showed up?
Yes.
This results in it because they go to commercial break, and by the time they come back from commercial, we've been given an impromptu six-man tag match, and it's the primetime players with Dolph Ziggler versus the New Day. I would say this was probably one of the better matches on the show. Is that safe to say?
Safe to say.
Titus O'Neil wins and looks incredibly dominant and is over as fuck in San Antonio. And wins with the pump handle power slam. Any thoughts on this, or can we keep this ball rolling?
Just one quick thought. With Titus using the pump handle power slam, it was a bit rusty and not very fluent because I was going to say like that same move by Tess. You remember Tess?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was just puffing up a blue. Test. This is a test. Yep.
His pump handle power slam was beautiful. I looked forward for that pump handle slam. But with Titus, it looked like there wasn't enough power or fluent movement.
Yeah, it looked kind of clumsy. Let's talk about Roman Reigns versus Mark Henry. So this is the second Roman Reigns match. Reigns wins by countout. There's not really much to talk about here. After the match, though, Henry hits Reigns with the world's strongest slam and the world's strongest splash. Your thoughts on him attacking Reigns after the match?
It was to be expected.
So, like before, Triple H and Stephanie inform Roman Reigns that again he will have another match, and if he loses, he will be removed from the Money in the Bank ladder match. And it's funny because he was like, wait, don't tell me, I have another match, which I thought was awesome. And then Triple H says that you should lace up that vest real tight and get ready to face the Buzzards. This disappointed me only because I was expecting Wyatt with the other members of the Wyatt family. Spoiler alert, we don't get that. But let's keep this ball rolling because we only have a little bit longer. Divas title match. Paige versus Nikki Bella. Do you want to talk about the match or do you want to talk about the finish of the match?
Let's talk about the finish of the match.
Okay, so finish of the match is Nikki and Brie do twin magic, and they beat Paige with, I believe it was like a small package or roll up. Question. Two questions. Nikki and Brie are supposed to be good guys, right?
Right.
Is twin magic a good guy move?
Wrong.
Yeah, and this is one thing that I've wondered too, because you and I have said this many, many times before about the Killer Bees, right? And you mentioned to me that before the show that at the very least the Killer Bees had similar body types, they're about the same size, and they both wore the same outfits, right? So when they put those masks on, you really, I mean, unless you were looking at the guy's upper lip, because I think B. Brian Blair had a mustache, or was it
Yes.
Jumpin' Jim Brunzell? One of
them did.
One of them had a mustache. They could have done mustache twin magic. But they did that, and they were good guys. And this is a thing that's always gotten on my nerves because to me, this is kind of a heel move, right?
Right.
Is this a subtle way of acknowledging that maybe we're going to go back to heel Bellas? Or is this just shitty TV writing?
I'm gonna go with shitty TV writing.
All right.
I mean,
So let's talk.
I just wanted to to touch base because even though they wore similar colors, they were still different outfits. Brie is skinnier and not as voluptuous as Nikki, so the referee should have seen that.
Absolutely. He should be paying attention to these lady parts. You ready to talk about Orton versus Sheamus?
Let's keep this ball rolling.
Because there's not much to talk about, so I do want to talk about the end of the match and then what came afterwards. So at some point, the match spills to the outside, and Randy seems to have Sheamus's number, or just about, when the referee's at the count of 6, and Sheamus hits Orton with a chair, and Orton wins via disqualification. After the match, Sheamus hits Orton with a brogue kick, throws him into the barricade, then into the steel post, then into the barricade, then another brogue kick. So this is the first time that we've seen Randy Orton on TV in a couple weeks. Does this damage Randy Orton?
In a sense, yes, but then no, because I mean, again, Sheamus is a brawler. He's not a wrestler. He's not a fighter. He's a brawler. So that just would lead into like a possible rematch. Because aren't they both supposed to be in the Money in the Bank match?
I believe so, and it's kind of Randy Orton's kind of at a point where, like, now he's so over with the crowd, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, that he's pretty much invincible, right? Like, you could do anything to him character-wise, and it won't affect how the crowd feels about him.
Right.
So let's talk about the second best promo on the show, where Byron Saxton interviews an injured Rusev. Rusev says he has nothing, no title, no career, and no woman. He is just a broken man with a broken ankle and a broken spirit. He is the one who is crushed this time, but he knows what he wants, and he will get it all back. What's your take on this new side of Rusev? Character depth?
It shows him being a little bit more humble, but then yet having goals. So as of right now, we know what to expect with Rusev when he comes back. So when he comes back, I believe the IC champion is in his view.
I think so, and it's kind of makes him human, right?
Yeah.
So we get a rematch of Bo Dallas versus Adrian Neville. Now Dallas gives his obligatory pre-match promo, but he says that he tried to help.
I just want to hurt you.
Stop it.
I just want to hurt you.
Stop it. But Bo says that he tried to. Bo says that. Stop it. You're the worst. Bo says that he tried to help Neville, but now he just wants to hurt him. And this is a very different, much more serious Bo. But in the end, after a very short match, Neville wins with the red arrow. Your thoughts?
I thought this match was awfully short, real quick, and your boy Bo Diddley didn't follow through with his promo.
You know, if at the very least, if they cut the Divas match, this match could have been more entertaining because there's no need to have a championship match on Raw. That's just stupid. So now we're going to get into the main event, and if you stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, right after we discuss the main event, we're going to get into our good, bad, and the fugly, which is our favorite portion of our Raw reviews, which basically means we talk about the obvious, the good, the bad, and the fugly. It's very brief, and then we get to the end. So, that being said, it's the third match of the night for Roman Reigns. It's Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. Now, during the match, Seth Rollins, Kane, and J&J Security come out to the stage, and they stay on the stage for almost the entirety of the match. What did you think about this match itself? Because it was only about maybe 10, 12 minutes.
Yeah, this match had potential to be an awesome main event. I mean, we have the new face of fear versus Super Uso, and with a injured Super Uso, and then we get the Authority standing at the head of the ramp just watching a match.
So
with
yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, that's okay.
So
age before beauty.
Dick. But again, this match had. I can understand why they made this match the main event, but with a fresh Roman Reigns and a fresh Bray, this had like pay-per-view potential.
And that kind of touches on my second question. Obviously, Roman Reigns wins this match, which we'll mention in just a moment. But being that it seems like the new way that they're handling, or the new presentation for Bray Wyatt is to bring him out when there's something special for him to do, let him cut promos on TV, but save those matches for when they're really important. Kind of treat him more like a
draw.
Like an attraction, like a draw. Kind of like what they've been doing in The Undertaker over the past few years, but he gets much more frequent usage. Was this a waste of Bray Wyatt? Could they have plugged someone else in this spot and it would have been just as fine?
Well, we needed somebody with that potential to actually step in. So Bray was a good choice, but they could have brought in somebody else, maybe Kane. But we've seen Kane so many damn times; it's not even funny. So I'm happy with this choice. But again, this match had potential to be a pay-per-view status. Why they didn't just let it go is beyond me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So here's basically what happens. As soon as Reigns is about to win, right? Like as soon as he evens the playing field, because the story going into the match is that Reigns he's pooped out, right? He's facing a fresh Bray Wyatt, and Reigns himself is all pooped. He's gassed out. So just as he's about to win, Rollins, Kane, and J&J Security surround the ring to distract them. They're kind of doing the old Shield move, right? Where it's kind of forcing them to wonder where the attack's going to come from. And this allows Bray to put Reigns into the Sister Abigail, except he doesn't get it all the way, and Reigns counters, sends Bray into the ropes, knocking Kane off the apron, and then as Bray's coming back from the ropes, he hits him with a spear, and despite the interference, he still manages to pick up the win. After the match, Rollins, Kane, J&J Security again surround the ring to pounce on Roman Reigns, and Ambrose music hits, and they're looking and waiting for Ambrose, but they don't see him. They're like, where is he, where is he, where is he? And lo and behold, he's standing with the title on the announcer table. He jumps in the ring with Reigns, and they kind of go back-to-back like bros, and they take out everyone. And in the end, Ambrose leaves with the title, and Reigns leaves through the crowd as well. So a couple of quick questions. How do you like Ambrose just hijacking the title?
I think it's awesome. I love it.
What did you think about him helping out his bro?
You lagged out on me right there, that question.
How did you feel about Ambrose coming out to help his bro?
Good sportsmanship, watching his boys back. Respect.
I think that's it. So One last question before we get into the good, the bad, and the fugly, because we forgot to do this with Elimination Chamber. How does Elimination Chamber pay-per-view rate? How would you rank it?
I'm sorry, you lagged out on me. Were you referring to this
Oh,
Raw?
no, I was referring to the Elimination Chamber because we forgot to mention that earlier. So, how would you rank or rate the Elimination Chamber, and then we'll talk about Raw.
Elimination Chamber, 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Yeah, I would probably say like 5 or 6. I think it was okay. Or no, on your scale it would be yeah. No, on your scale it would be a 5 or 4. So yeah, no, it was pretty good. So if ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar, this is how we end the show. It's called the good, the bad, the fugly, because what we do is we talk about what happened at Raw, and we distill it into three things: good, bad, and fugly. Papa, I'm gonna let you go first. What you got for your good for this Raw, June 1st, 2015?
Okay, for Raw, my good, I would have to say would be the Kevin Owens John Cena promo. That whole promo was awesome. My bad was the Big Show promo. And my fugly was the Bella Twins Twin Magic spot.
Now, this is the part where I would give my opinion, but I'm actually with you all the way. My good was the Owen Cena promo. My bad was Big Show showing up at all. Because there's this idea that we need to, every time Big Show comes back, like there's this thought process that, oh, well, people forget that he's a giant, so we have to remind people. Well, he's 7 feet fucking tall. He's 450 pounds. He's obviously a giant. You don't have to reiterate, hey, this guy's a giant. And yes, I'm with you. My fugly is that good guys are doing the masked confusion, as the Killer Bees called it, or as the Bella Twins call it, twin magic. Ladies and gentlemen, Papo, that's it, right?
That's it. Stay tuned. We love you guys. Keep watching. Everything's down below. This will be posted on Facebook pretty soon. Keep watching.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Like, comment, subscribe. Go to the Facebook page. Go to the Patreon page. Follow us on Twitter. Send us your emails. All sorts of stuff. Share. Share this video on all your social media network sites. And boom, we are out of here.